I think the performance in Twickenham last weekend was obviously not ideal. You're trying to build confidence, trying to build momentum going into a World Cup. But I guess Ireland have to do it the slightly more difficult way now. They've got to build confidence in a hurry. They've got 2 warm-up games left. And whatever about results, they need to get some performances going. I think the wind was properly taken out of their sails in the Six Nations, and they have to be careful that they don't allow that to manifest itself as they start the Rugby World Cup with their 2 clutch games in Scotland and Japan. So, all's not lost. You can turn things around in sport and in rugby very quickly, but they certainly have to do that. Otherwise, it's going to be a battle with their mentality, and you don't want to go into a World Cup on a negative. Well, there's probably no coincidence that performance has slumped a small bit since Joe Schmidt announced that he wouldn't be continuing his post after Rugby World Cup. Human instinct allows the brain to wander, or what might be in the future, and I'm sure it's impacted in some capacity. I don't know what way you could have worked around it because you've got a future plan, but I don't think the players are going to be thinking, we need to give Joe a proper send-off. I think they'll be thinking more selfishly for themselves about, this is potentially a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. For me, I genuinely believe that we could definitely have 5 or 6 different winners of Rugby World Cup. But if it was put to me to pick one team, I think right now England are probably a team that I would fancy for it. I just think they're gearing up brilliantly. They've had a good run of form in 2019 with some really impressive displays, and I just feel as though they have the game and the versatility of game to be able to cope with whatever's thrown at them. And if they continue playing like some of their warm-up matches, I think not many teams will be able to cope with them. So if I was to pick one team right now, I'm thinking them, but so much can change in a 10-week period and in the lead up to this Rugby World Cup.
I think Ireland would have learned a couple of different lessons in that defeat. They would have seen where, the gap between where they might need to be and where they are. Also, how to deal with that type of game that England were playing, where they had such a power-dominated up-front game. However, they kind of bolted on or added on this offloading, fluid type of game where the point of contact it was very hard to nail you down and create a ruck, and the knock on of that was being able to create a defensive line. So England kept moving that point of contact, kept moving the ball, and it was very hard for Ireland to get set, and then they had a couple of system errors off the back of that. So a couple of defensive learnings there, but also learnings in terms of execution, having nailed the detail, nailed their set piece, and maybe evolved. They had a lot of one-off runners, which made it very easy for England to defend. Maybe evolving that play a little bit more. I think having this Rugby World Cup in Japan, first time in Asia, it's new, that might jolt some people, traditionalists of the game, but it's the only way and it's the best way to grow this game. Bring it to new markets, expose it to play like the sport is played in Japan. So to expose it to that market, it's already got a foothold there. Let's try and grow it. In not just Japan, but in the Asian market, and it really excites me to think. Of the experience fans and players will have over there because of the blend of old traditional Japan and very modern new technology-driven Japan, and how they get that blend just right, and how different that is to anywhere that I've been in Europe.
Yeah.